Hi guys, welcome back on board of the Crypto Cruiser. It's me, Chris, and today, of course, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and where it's heading in the immediate short term for next week, what I'm anticipating for Bitcoin to do. Of course, we're going to talk some chart analysis, Bitcoin, how it's going to end up by the end of the year. We're going to talk some traditional markets such as S&P 500 and where they're heading in the immediate short term. So let's get started, guys. Let's just start with the Bitcoin chart. And since I launched my channel, I've been nothing but right. Since prices of around 70,000 right here, beginning of August, I've told you that we're going to anticipate a huge correction, start testing prices below 60,000. Then we're going to have a final wash off to shake off all the weekends and test prices below 50,000, price of around 49,000. That's exactly what we did. Then I said I anticipate a huge bounce at price of around 65. Actually, the price were at around 65,000. I call this local top at 65,000, and I've told you that I anticipate a huge correction and to go to 52,000. That's exactly what we did. And from 52,000, I've been nothing but bullish on the short term and the long term. And I anticipated prices to go at price of around 77,000. Test this huge yearly resistance line that we test before in April and November of 2021, its previous all-time highs, and we had another test at the beginning of the year in March of 2024 at prices of around 73,000, and that's what I said. So I'd like to see exactly how it's going to play out. Are we going to push through this huge resistance line and we're going to have a full price discovery and start testing price of above 90,000, potentially to 90, 95, 96,000? And that's what we're having at this particular moment, a full price discovery. And I've told you, once we do that, some of the outcomes will start outperforming the Bitcoin chart, and that's what we're having as well. But yeah, so I predict this move from 70 to below 50,000. But how did I know that? Because S&P 500 was already correcting, and S&P 500, and to be fair, all the stock markets such as Nasdaq and Dow Jones Industrial, they're very much correlated. They're not all the time following the same trend, but most of the time they're very much correlated. So we had middle of July, we start having a correction, just a correction, of course, 10% on the downside. We had an ABC correction. While all these big YouTubers were calling for a bear market, I've told you there's no reason for you to panic. I anticipate a huge V-shaped recovery. I mean, you can turn back some of my videos. I think one of my first video was actually showing you how exactly the V-shaped recovery plays out. And that's what we had at the letter V. And we start almost testing all-time highs. And then I said it will be healthy for the overall trend to actually come back to this previous resistance line that acted as resistance middle of July and end of July, beginning of August, twice as resistance. We turned back. We touched this huge previous resistance line. Now we turn into support, and we had the continuation of the trend and start hitting all-time highs for Bitcoin, and potentially, I've told you, test 6,000. In the process, we actually formed a reverse head and shoulders, which is an extremely bullish pattern, and measure from the head to the bottom. The price target should be above 6,250. So that's what I'm anticipating for Bitcoin to actually do. And I've told you yesterday, guys, that I'm anticipating to test this local top here at 5,850. We turn this into support, and then we're going to have the continuation of the trend and start hitting price of above 6,250. Once we do that, potentially we can extend and we can go to 6,300 or even 400. But then I anticipate a huge, massive correction. Probably that'll happen next year between the period January or February. And we can potentially from 6,400 we can drop to price of around 6,000. This is just something in the charts that I can clearly see. And then we're going to have the continuation of the chart. When everyone is thinking that the bear market is in, then we're going to have huge bounce and start testing. Perhaps we can go and potentially test this huge resistance line and test price of above 6,600. And if we break out of it, I mean, who knows? But let's just take one trade at a time. So far, everything here has been playing out the way I've been anticipating. So far, so good. Yeah, let's get back to the Bitcoin chart and what I'm anticipating to happen next week potentially, and by the end of the year. So as I've said, over the weekend we're just gonna consolidate between price of around 80, 87, and 90 and 92,000. We're just gonna consolidate into these price targets. Nothing major is gonna happen over the weekend, and potentially, if let's say S&P 500 found support at this previous local top at price of around 5,850. Next week, I anticipate start either we're gonna consolidate for a week or two into these prices, or I'm anticipating a huge bounce and start testing prices. As I've said, start reaching prices of this price of this chart pattern. The price target is 6,250. So that's what I'm anticipating, to go and test prices above 6,200 in the immediate short term. What's going to happen with Bitcoin? Well, of course, as I've said, if they are very much correlated, I anticipate higher price for Bitcoin. But in my personal opinion, we're going to go first to 96, 97,000. And while everyone is thinking that we're going to go above 100,000, this is the moment I think we're going to have a major correction and start testing price of around 80,000, 82,000, and test this previous resistance, early resistance line, we turn it to support, and then we're going to have one huge upside momentum, and then we're going to hit potentially 109,000. Once we do that, potentially we can come back, had a huge major correction, and start testing price of around 71, 72,000 to shake off everybody. And while everyone is thinking that the bear market is actually in, then we're gonna go and we start testing way higher prices than what it is. I mean, that'll be healthy for the overall trend, because we never actually came back and test this local top here at price of around 73, 74,000. We never actually tested it as a support. We dropped down from 73 to 67. I've told you that we're gonna drop to 69. If you're following my channel, we actually overextended, and we never actually had the proper correction from the price of around 66,000 to now almost 94,000. I mean, that's from here measured from 66, that's almost 50% on the upside. Of course, I anticipate to go a bit further, but I mean, it'll be healthy for the overall trend to actually come back, test this previous resistance line, turn into support, have more upside momentum, potentially go above 100,000, and then we're going to have a huge ABC correction. And in the process, we form a irregular ABC correction. But I think this is just going to be a massive correction. While everyone turned bearish, we're going to turn bullish as well. And I anticipate way higher prices than what it is now. I mean, so far so good, guys. Everything has been playing out the way I've been anticipating. Let's see how it's going to play out. It's really difficult to make forecast for the immediate short term, especially on the daily basis, because no one can predict the future. Anything I say in this video, it is not a financial advice. It's for pure entertainment purposes. And before doing anything, do your diligence and make your own research, because as I've said, anything in this video, anything I'm saying in this video or any video, it is not a financial advice. It's for pure entertainment purposes. Once again, guys, thank you all. Thank you for tuning in. But just for a conclusion of the video, to tell you, I'm extremely bullish on the short term and long term for Bitcoin. I think this bull market can last at least another 6 to 8 months, at least, even further than that. But let's be conservative, and let's see how exactly it's going to play out. Once again, guys, thank you all. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, please do it. It's for absolutely free. And if you want to subscribe to my Patreon and really support my work, that'll be absolutely amazing. With the subscription comes, of course, you can get my books, the Crypto Guidebook, over 60 pages filled with very useful information for this bull cycle, and my other book, The Art of Chart Analysis, filled with very useful information of how to become a sophisticated trader. In my personal opinion, you can gain quite a lot of knowledge in the art of chart analysis. And of course, with the subscription, there's also exclusive content with 100x potential coins. Not a financial advice. Once again, thank you all. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see each other later on. Goodbye.